Oh, Scarlett! What is this? You got a 9 out of 10 in your spelling test? You know that's a fail in this family!
Why are you so stupid?
You are worthless!
You will never amount to anything.
How can anybody love you?
I wish you were never born.
Inspector Gorge.
How you doing, sir?
Morning, gentlemen. What's on the menu?
Mysterious death, sir.
Just show me the body. Did you move the body?
Well, we had to, sir. We had to move it away from the press.
Lift the sheet. Oh, God. A shame. Jesus, this is scary. Can you get those idiots away from my crime scene?
No, you cannot do that. You cannot do that. You can't take that. That's crazy. That's not right. That's crazy. That's not right. You can't take that. That's crazy. That's not right. Take that. That's not right. That's crazy. That's not right. Take that. That's crazy.
This is really odd. I need to get back to the station now.
Talk to all the witnesses.
Witnesses? What witnesses?
What are you doing here?
Oh, nothing.
You shouldn't be here. Come with me. This way, please.
Inspector Gorge, this is a murder investigation. No one is to leave until I say. You're Mrs. Kensington, I understand. I'm Inspector Gorge. I understand you found Mrs. Scarlett's body this morning.
That's right, Inspector.
So, what happened last night? You didn't hear anything suspicious?
I was in my room last night, reading my Bible. I went to sleep about 11:30. I never heard anything.
Is there anything you're not telling me?
Of course not, Inspector.
Yes? Did you have something to say?
The kitchen staff arrive at the back door and the floor staff arrive until 9 a.m.
And what time did you find the body, Mrs. Kensington?
7 a.m.
You sure? You sure it was 7?
100%. I looked at the clock on the wall just before I left my room.
So why weren't the staff informed last night?
The staff leave at 10.
Then it must have happened after they left.
So the staff all leave and then this takes place. Isn't that convenient?
Look, sir, you've got the wrong woman. I did not kill Mrs. Scarlett, and I'd thank you not to accuse me of something I haven't done. If you'll excuse me, I'm going to retire to my room.
1 minute, Mrs. Kensington. We're not quite finished. I'm not accusing you of anything. I'm just trying to find out what happened last night.
I arrived about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Oh, chauffeur.
My name's Higgins. Alan Higgins.
Mr. Higgins, would you please be so kind as to bring my luggage?
Of course, Mrs.
Thank you, Mr. Higgins.
When would you like me to return for you?
Sunday, in the afternoon, please.
If you change your mind, please don't hesitate to contact me.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
Good afternoon, Mrs. Kensington. Welcome to the Scarlett Guest House. You'll be in room number 9 on the first floor. Simon, will you please take our guest to her room?
Of course, Miss Scarlett.
Simon will show you to your room, and tea will be served in the back garden at 2:30, if you'd like to join us.
Thank you. That would be delightful. I'll just go and freshen up first,
If you could please follow me, madam.
and I'll meet you in the garden.
Like anything else, Miss Rose?
That's it, thank you.
What a delightful spread you have here, and the weather is perfect for it. Am I too early, Miss Scarlett? I seem to be the only guest here.
You only guest checked in for the time being, so it's just you and me. So, Mrs. Kensington, how was that delicious son of yours?
Don't you dare speak of him.
He was always one of my favourites, so eager to please.
Stop talking about him.
Such a shame to get rid of him.
How dare to call him, you little bitch. You ruined his life when you carelessly tossed him aside. He loved you, and when you ran away, I lost a son. I haven't seen him since the day you betrayed him.
Oh, do calm down. You'll give yourself a heart attack. Good evening. I'd like to welcome you to Scarlett Guest House. I trust you've all comfortably settled into your room. Allow me to introduce you all. First, we have Mrs. Sims. Her husband Christopher is seated next to her. Mr. and Mrs. Sims have been married for 5 years, and my dear husband and I were guests at their wedding. We also have Colonel Epic, and he's flavour of the month.
I'm sure some of the guests could find some colourful names for you too.
I'm sorry, dear. I forgot your name.
My name is Elizabeth Perry.
Of course, and we're delighted to have you, Lizzie.
She said Elizabeth.
No, Colonel. I was only teasing. We're pleased you could both join us. We do have another guest, Mrs. Kensington, who isn't feeling rather well, so she'll be joining us after dinner. I know Mrs. Kensington through her son.
How do you know what happened during dinner? You weren't there.
To tell you the truth, I wasn't really ill. I was listening through the door the entire time. That woman did not just mention Michael again.
He was a dear, dear friend of mine. Now, dinner is served.
I'm going to the ladies' room. I shan't be a moment. Oh, hello. You must be Mrs. Kensington.
Correct. And who might you be?
I'm Elizabeth Perry. Nice to meet you. Mrs. Scarlett said that you weren't well. Are you feeling any better?
Actually, I'm fine. I just couldn't stand to have dinner with that woman.
Oh, I understand. She isn't the nicest of people, is she?
I trust you all enjoyed your dinner. Now, I thought we'd have some fun by regaling each other in our musical and dancing talents. Mrs. Kensington, I seem to remember you were quite talented on the piano. Might you give us a tune or two?
I would love to. Any requests?
Do you know Glory? It's one of our favourites.
Would anybody like some more wine? So, do you have Colonel have anything planned for tonight, dear? I mean, Miss Elizabeth.
We have.
What do you have planned for tonight then?
I'm going to perform a monologue, and Miss Elizabeth here is going to hold a word sheet for me. As I made my way through the trenches of war, the smell of death hung thick in the air. I refused to let this stop me as I rounded a corner and heard my general bark out orders to the new recruits. I continued to make my way through the thick, brown sludge beneath my feet. After a year in the trenches, thick, brown sludge and the smell of death came the norm. As gunfire sounded in the distance and explosions lit up the horizon, I I took a sudden breath. We were heading towards the heat. The sound of fighting. As I fought for every man, every woman, and child back in my homeland, I tried to remember the good times that I would return when this wretched war had ended, and I could see the land of my birth. And I'd once again see everything I once loved and enjoyed at my leisure. Brown sludge, brown boots, brown uniform, brown faces. That is what you see when you are involved in a raging war. A war that rages like a lion, separated from his cub. Rages like a dragon, and rages like a stormy sea that is determined to take revenge on anyone who tries to cross it. As I made my way closer to the front line, I knew the possibility of turning alive. All my limbs were small. Like a soldier, and I was prepared to stick by my word no matter what and no matter the cost. As I wove myself between the bodies that had become the casualties of war, and were merely left where they lay, I swore to myself that I would not be one of them. The front line is not a place, the faint of heart. It's the heart of the fighting. And all you can hear is the constant shower of bullets, the constant roar of tanks, and the constant explosions that can cause you to demise at any moment. As I stood there prepared to offer my life, that's what it took to defend my country, I couldn't help. But I think if I had lived my life to the full, had I lived enough? Had I loved enough? Had I travelled enough? Had I been kind enough? Had I left a permanent mark in this world? What would that be remembered for? Oh my God. At this moment, I knew it wasn't enough. And there was no way on earth, by hook or by crook, that I would have returned to my country a hero under no circumstances. I was going to allow this war and fighting to break my heart or spirit. I was also determined that the battlefields of war would not be littered. They would not be littered with any part of my body. I would return the man I left us. I would return the man I left us, but stronger and more eager to leave a mark on the world. I will last in eternity.
Well, what a charming night. But I think it's time for me to retire. Good night, all.
Good night.
Night. That's it, Inspector. I went to my room, read my Bible and went to sleep at 11:30, just like I said.
Thank you for telling us your story, Mrs. Kensington. It wasn't the real story, though, was it?
Of course it was, Inspector.
No, it wasn't.
I think I know what happened better than you, Inspector.
That's true, so maybe you can explain this.
All right. I hated that woman. She broke my son's heart and I've never seen him since. She was a selfish bitch. and went after everything with a pulse.
So what did happen?
I went to my room at 11:30. I waited until I heard Mrs. Scarlett downstairs. It was dark in the foyer and I could only see a silhouette. As she rushed past me, I brought the knife down swiftly. A bit later, I went back upstairs and hid the knife.
There were no knife wounds found on the body. Mr. and Mrs. Sims, perhaps you could tell us your side of the story.
Okay, well, it started about 4 o'clock yesterday when we arrived.
It was about 4:09 actually.
Okay, it was 4:09.
Why do we always take so long to get ready?
Why are you using Friday?
We don't want to insist on washing your hair 20 minutes before we had to leave.
Well, excuse me,
I know, let's just... alright? Ooh. You okay? You alright? You alright? You sure?
It's just a twinge.
Welcome to the Scarlett Guest House, Chris. Welcome, Mrs. Sims.
That's Mr. Sims to you, only I can call him Christopher.
Of course.
Listen, if all of us are too much for you and the baby, we can go home, alright?
I'm fine, stop worrying so much.
Ah, I see you're expecting. One day, when she has baby sick and her unwashed hair, you're going to wish that I'd given you something to get you through them cold and lonely nights.
I'd like to go to my room. Now, please.
You'll be in room number 2 on the ground floor. Simon, will you please show the Sims over?
With pleasure. Madam, sir, please follow me.
So, what was that?
What was what?
That look.
What look?
The one she gave you.
I didn't see any look. You must have imagined it, darling.
Oh, and I imagined her calling you Chris as well, did I?
Well, that is my name.
Yeah, but she didn't exactly call me Lucy, did she? She's obviously still in love with you.
We've spoken about this, alright? She's married now and so are we. I love you. I'm not going to betray you or anything like that, alright? It's never going to go between me and Rose Scarlett anymore. God.
You sure she knows that?
What was that?
Nothing, dear.
Good evening. I'd like to welcome you to the Scarlett Guest House. I trust you've all comfortably settled into your room. Allow me to introduce you. First, we have Mrs. Sims. Christopher, who is seated next to his wife. Mr. and Mrs. Sims have been married for 5 years, and my dear husband and I were guests at their wedding.
The only reason she was a guest is because of your relationship with her.
Don't start, okay? Let's just try and have a nice evening.
Now, dinner is served.
This looks lovely, Rose. What exactly is it?
Your starter is escargot, which is snails in garlic sauce.
Sorry I asked.
Delicacy.
Sure, it'll be lovely.
What are the other courses, Mrs. Scarlett?
Your other main course choices are grilled over sole or frog legs in a lemon butter sauce, crispy gimbo, and for dessert, a champagne trifle. Will you be needing anything else? Are you old enough to drink?
I'm 25 years old, so yes, I am. Isn't this lovely? Do you remember the first time I met you, you took me dancing and they played the song, you sent me our song?
What's not going to forget?
That was lovely.
It was a pleasure.
Mr. and Mrs. Sims, why don't you go next? How about that delightful duet you sang at your wedding?
Oh, as you wish.
I'm gonna tell you in front of everyone we love that no matter the road, I won't run or give up. When I look in your eyes, there is nothing but you and me. And every time I see your smile, I know that we were meant to be. Today, I'll make you my wife, and I pledge to you I'd give you my life. The love we share is incomparable, and you'll never find anyone who loves as hard as we do.
So, do you have Colonel have anything planned for tonight, dear?
I wish she stopped talking about our wedding every time she mentions us.
Oh, you're ashamed for a wedding or something?
Of course not. It's the best night of my life, but it makes my skin crawl.
Ah, as it should. It's the feeling of a love light crawling all over you.
Are you coming?
You go. I'll be along in a moment.
Okay, don't let the love rat walk all over you. Oh, I hate that woman.
So, tell me, Rose, how have you been?
Not the same since you left.
Where's Richard? Well, I'm surprised he's not here today.
He's fine. He's away on business. But enough about him. It's about us.
Let me give us a few drinks first. So, where was we?
Us.
Look, Rose, I'm not going to betray my wife. I love her. I'm married to her, okay? What about Richard?
I don't want Richard. I want you.
Well, you have to accept you can't get everything you want.
Are you sure you would rather have me?
I'm not going to betray my wife, Rose. No. I returned to my room after that. A few minutes later I heard a glass break. I assume she just dropped her glass.
That's an interesting story, Mr. Sims. At least you're loyal to your wife, but there's something that doesn't feel quite right. Are you sure you don't want to change your story?
No, why should I? I was telling the truth the first time.
Hey, aren't those your shoes, Chris?
Do you know what we found on the soles of the shoes? We also found morphine in this glass. This is the glass that you served her last night. It's got Mrs. Scarlett's prints on it, it's got yours on it. It's quite obvious now that you tried to poison her. What I need to know is why.
Isn't obvious. Me and her had a fling about 6 years ago. I met my wife, I wanted to move on, just live my life. But she wouldn't accept that. She kept pestering me, so I had enough.
Christopher, how could you?
Where did you get the poison, Mr. Sims? This was found involving a pot of prize. I suspect that when we have it analysed, you'll find yours and Mrs. Sim's prints on it.
What, my prints? Why would they be on it?
We gave it to you.
No, we did not. Test it, you won't find my prints on that thing.
Of course not. You walked off, didn't you?
Well, no.
I need you to confirm that you administered the poison.
Mrs. Scarlett, she was such a bitch. She was flirting with my husband, right in front of me too. I got the poison from the hospital I work at as a nurse.
There was no trace of morphine in Mrs. Scarlett's system.
What?
My guess is that she never consumed the drink you served her. Maybe you can help us, Colonel.
Who? Me?
Of course you. Somebody must know what happened to Mrs. Scarlett last night. Nobody is leaving until this mystery is solved. I need to know what happened between you and Mrs. Scarlett.
Well, Inspector, as you might already know, Miss Scarlett and I were in a relationship 7 years ago. We had known each other for years and had been in a relationship for 5. We were going to get married, but the army called my unit. When I got back, it was too late. Hello, Rose. It's me, James.
Hello, Colonel.
What's wrong? Aren't you happy to see me? My mission is over and we can finally be together.
You dark fool. Why don't ever want to be with a man as old as you? Especially when you left me.
I told you I was coming back.
Not fast enough. I got married last month. I never want to see you again. Now get out!
Who was he?
Who was who?
Who was the man that hurt you so much that you can never trust a man again?
There wasn't a man. Now get out of here before I call the police. And if I ever see you again, I will not be responsible for my actions.
Considering she said she didn't want to see me again, I was surprised we got an invitation for this weekend.
Have you got the information we need, Inspector?
No, I'm not finished yet. I need you outside to secure the crime scene.
Are you sure, sir?
Yes, of course I'm sure. Just get out and don't let anybody in here.
Yes, Inspector.
And that goes for everybody here too. No one is to leave until we resolve this case. Thank you for your cooperation, Colonel, but you still haven't told me what happened last night. Anything else?
We arrived the same time as the Sims.
Elizabeth!
I'm coming, okay? Gosh. Are those other guests? I guess we weren't the only ones invited.
Apparently not.
Mrs. Scarlett, you'll like me, won't you?
Colonel Epping, how wonderful to see you. And who is this?
This is Miss Elizabeth Perry.
Welcome. Simon, please will you take Miss Perry to her room? I need to speak to the Colonel.
If you could please follow me, Miss Perry.
How dare you bring a date?
You said I could bring a guest.
I meant an adult, not a child.
Miss Elizabeth Perry is just a lady friend, and you will treat her with absolute respect. Do you understand?
She didn't want to, did she?
Rose was terrible for the rest of the day. Then that night, after everyone went to bed, I found Elizabeth outside crying. I hated Rose for upsetting her, so after Elizabeth went to bed, I went to get some fresh air to cool off.
Is there anything else?
I took my gun with me.
Why was that?
Well, I have a right to protect myself, don't I? Anyway, I was walking in the garden when I heard some shouting coming from the living room. It was Mr. Sims and Mrs. Scarlett. They were fighting about something, and I knew exactly what it was. She had done it again. She had taken a man's heart and totally destroyed it. She had to be taught a lesson. Later, when Mrs. Scarlett came outside, I was so angry that I wanted to hurt her. But I couldn't. But then I remembered what she had done to everyone she had ever known. So when I heard her coming outside again, I took aim, closed my eyes, and pulled the trigger. That's right. I shot her dead.
My colleagues found the bullet. It hit the house. Nobody is telling me the truth. So, Mr. Sims, you told me that she flirted with you to break up your marriage? You also told me that you tried to poison her with morphine. And you, Mrs. Kensington, told me that you tried to stab her. Correct? And?
She tried to destroy my marriage. My wife is faithful, and she is 1,000 times the woman that Rose Scarlett was. You have no idea what she put the people of this house through. If one of us did kill her, then she had it coming. You have no idea what you're dealing with.
Yes, I do. I've worked in the force for 28 fucking years. Don't tell me I don't know what I'm dealing with. This woman is dead. One of you has broken the law. I'm going to find out who it was, and nobody is leaving until I've resolved this case. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll be back shortly.
Shit! Everything okay, Inspector?
I've been doing this for 25 years, and I've never seen a case as complicated as this one.
Do you know the conversation with the guests?
There's no conclusion. I'm not leaving until I've sorted this out, but I need to get back to work. So, Miss Perry.
My name is Elizabeth Perry.
Where were you last night?
She had nothing to do with this. Just leave her out of it.
I was talking to Miss Perry. One of my officers found a bust, broken. I'm starting to think that it and you had something to do with Mrs. Scarlett's death.
How dare you tell me I had something to do with a woman in a bloody red dress? We have sat here all morning in this dining room like children and had you interrogate us. Well, I'm not going to stand for it.
Oh, really?
Yes, really.
Sit down. If you touch me, that constitutes assault.
What do you mean, attempted assault? I wasn't going to touch you. Not that I would want to anyway.
Sit down.
Fine. Not because you told me so.
Of course you know what happened during dinner that night, but what you don't know about is the conversation we had during dessert.
This is a lovely place, Mrs. Scarlett. How did you afford such a grand place?
I inherited it.
Oh, really? By who?
One of my husband's relatives.
Well, extremely generous from someone who isn't in the bloodline, but very nice from that someone.
Yes, it was. Now everyone's finished with their dessert. How about we move into the music room?
Elizabeth, where have you been?
Just went out for a stroll. Had to clear my mind.
You okay?
She's so mean. What did I ever do to her?
Talking about Rose Scarlett.
What do you think?
I think yes.
Great deduction, Sherlock. Ever since I came in that room, her eyes were set upon me like daggers trying to dig into a cesspit. I've never felt so humiliated, so belittled. If I had a gun, I would shoot the pops and the brains out.
Killer? Are you totally insane?
I was only joking.
No. People don't joke about serious matters like that. Elizabeth, you're being sincere and serious.
Yes. This is how I really feel about Mrs. Scarlett. That slithering creature doesn't deserve to be alive. I wish he were dead.
I was really angry with Mrs. Scarlett. She had made it clear that she hated me and had been teasing about me being young all night. She was just being a jealous cow. I wanted to hit her. When I woke up to go to the bathroom, I saw a bust a few yards away. I heard something from downstairs, and I guessed it might have been her. Every time I walked past her, in or out of the building, she always calls me Flavour of the Month. Just because I'm the youngest doesn't mean anything at all. Besides, I should have called her Devil of the Month, Year, or even Millennium.
Mrs. Scott? What the hell? God. I can't touch her. I'm getting into trouble.
I assumed I had hit my mark.
You didn't. There were no signs on Mrs. Scarlett's body that indicate that she was killed by a heavy object. I mean, come on. This is murder, not paranormal activity.
I hated that woman. Everybody did. I will show no respect or remorse for Mrs. Scarlett. She doesn't deserve sympathy. In my opinion, she got what was coming to her.
Agree?
Yes, of course.
Shut up, all of you! Hello, Gorge. Oh, good evening, sir. No, not yet. To be honest with you, I have no idea. Sir, I'm going to have to call you back. I think I may just have solved this case. Who are you?
Kelly Garrett.
You took the photo my officer showed you earlier on. You realise what you've done, don't you?
No, sir.
You've just helped me solve one of the most difficult cases I've seen in 25 years. Can you ensure Miss Garrett receives a commendation for service? Thank you. Thank you all for joining me this evening, ladies and gentlemen. I know it's been a long day, and I won't keep you any longer than necessary. Now, before I reveal the evidence, is there anything anybody wants to tell me? Very well. Some new evidence has been brought to my attention, which I'd like to share with you. Let's go through it. My darling Rose.
Do we really have to listen to this?
My darling Rose, the past 5 years have been some of the happiest of my life, and I thought I had found a woman who would love me and cherish me for the rest of my life. I was wrong. I cut my business trip short as I missed my wife so much that I couldn't stay away any longer. However, when I returned home unexpectedly, I saw you in the living room, in the arms of another man. You betrayed me in the worst way possible, and I am leaving you. The divorce papers are on their way. Goodbye forever, Richard.
She couldn't bear the thought of being on her own. She overdosed on pills. This case is closed.
That was a relief. Thank goodness for that. In that case, I'm going to get my hat and coat.
I think I should get changed before we go home.
I think I shall ring my chauffeur.
Everything all right, sir?
Just get in the car and let's go. You stay here and clear up.
Right, I'll go and grab our bags, bring the car around. It was an absolute pleasure to meet all of you.
Oh, it was lovely to meet you this weekend. Really nice to meet you, Mrs. Sims. Shame about the terrible circumstances.
No matter. That woman may have been horrible, but she didn't count on us becoming friends.
Exactly. Hey, we should all meet up. Just us girls.
That's it.
I've got to go. We're the car around. Are you going to be okay with your luggage?
Yes, I'm just waiting for my chauffeur. He'll be here in a moment.
Even though I hated Mrs. Scarlett, she didn't deserve to go. Goodbye, Mrs. Sims. Oh, sorry, Mrs. Kensington.
Goodbye, dear.
Mum?
Michael?
Mum, I heard what happened. Are you alright?
Oh, Michael.
I'm so sorry I left. I just couldn't face you after what happened.
Well, she's dead now.
I know. And she can't hurt us anymore, but are you okay?
That doesn't matter. All that matters is my son is back.
Come on, let's go home.
Hello?
Hello, Mother. It's Michael.
Oh, hello, dear. I wasn't expecting to hear from you today. Is everything all right?
Everything is perfect, Mum. I met a girl.
A girl?
Yes, she's really wonderful. I can't believe how lucky I am to have met her.
And pray tell me, what is this wonderful girl's name?
Rosie. Aren't you happy for me, Mother?
Of course, dear. It's just... Never mind. Do be careful.
Mother, she's not Rose Scarlett.
I know that, Michael. When can I meet this new girl?
I will check my schedule and get back to you.
Okay. Speak to you soon. Here we go again.
Come in, it's open.
Hey, Lucy.
Sophie.
How are you?
I'm good, come sit.
Long time no see.
I know, it's so good to see you.
So, what happened to that little woman whose guest house you visited last time?
Scarlett guest house.
Yeah, actually happened.
Well, I don't really like to talk about it. I mean, it was so traumatizing. And all the guests were really lovely. Everyone was lovely, except...
And finally, a guest house owner found dead at her home has been identified. Now we go live to the police station, where the lead investigator has more information.
The owner of Scarlett Guest House, Mrs. Rose Scarlett, was found dead outside her home, and all guests were included on the list of suspects. After a lengthy investigation, it's been confirmed that this was the suicide of a depressed young woman with a lonely soul. All guests were cleared, and her next of kin have been notified. Thank you for your time. This case is closed.
Except what? That woman. Lucy? Sorry, I got distracted.
You mean my clothes?
Yeah, I'm sorry, but they're so similar to what Mrs. Scarlett was wearing.
I'm so sorry, babes.
It's not your fault. It's okay. I mean, she was such a bitch, but it brings back memories.
She was at a night test. Where's Chris?
Working late, as usual. He seems to be working late a lot recently. I think he's trying to avoid me, even though we are still together for the time being. I don't think he's even excited about the baby anymore. He cares more about Rose Scarlett than he does about me or the baby. But then, how is that possible? I mean, she made us miserable that weekend. Then she goes and dies, and we get interrogated by some stupid police officer over a stupid fucking death. I'm so sorry. It must be the hormones that make me feel like this.
I'm sure Chris loves you and the baby, and he's just trying to get over Mrs. Scarlett's death. It was probably so sudden that she was gone, and it had brought all the people who suffered closer together.
Yeah, I'm sure you're right. Tell you what, let's change the subject, shall we?
Yeah, sure. Did you think about the name of the baby?
Well, we were thinking for a boy, Adam Christopher Sims.
What about if this girl?
Well, we're still discussing that. I mean, We both like one or the other, but we don't like the same one.
She had taken a man's heart and totally destroyed it. Gosh, I had absolutely no idea how deep this was between you and her.
Listen, while under interrogation by Inspector Gorge, I had to contain myself that not only you had a 5-year relationship with Mrs. Scarlett, but you were going to marry her. I was shocked. However, I didn't want to look like a guilty suspect. Even though this whole thing has been over a month, I'm so traumatized. And it feels like as if it happened yesterday.
Elizabeth, I'm so sorry about how this information came out. Rose and I were finished. Didn't you realize that when you first met her?
Then why grieve for over a month for someone you claim you no longer have feelings for? Whenever we watched the news of Rose's death, I could see that tears were coming from your eyes, and you were trying to contain them.
Yeah, honestly, it's complicated, but it's not exactly what you think. I promise.
Complicated? Complicated? I'm afraid that's not good enough.
You know I care about you, and I'll always be there for you if you need me.
I know you care, but it's not the care that I want or deserve. Goodbye.
She's too young to understand.
Do you know why I was with Rose for so long? Because I was blinded by my love for her.
Yeah. Try explaining that to Elizabeth. Good on you for leaving it at it was complicated. My first impression of Rose was not good. I tried to tell you.
Right.
Did I not try to tell you at the time?
I was a different man back then. I didn't realise I was dealing with a fake. Elizabeth clearly doesn't want to speak to me. I was going to tell her I'm going on a mission and I don't know when or if I'll be back. Come on, let's go. We have our mission to focus on.
Yes, sir.
After you bait.
Elizabeth!
I'm coming, Ophelia.
We need to be on time for the exhibition.
Goodbye, Elizabeth Perry.
Did you get it full? Full plus of this as well. Gosh, it was quite a surprise, wasn't it? Can't believe she's giving a third prize stay to each of us ladies. And I can't believe you are naming your baby girl Rose Sims. Well, she was okay in the end. I have to honour her some way. It all worked out in the end. Solicitor. All good news?
Jonathan, it's a pleasure to hear from you again. I'm very well, thank you. I'm here having afternoon tea with the ladies, the ones that have also inherited Mrs. Scarlett's property. Yes? Oh yes, the brown envelope. I brought it with me. I've left it in the car. Yes, I'll show the ladies. Thank you very much. Have a lovely day. I shan't be a moment.
Something doesn't quite add up. Why on earth would Mrs. Scarlett place her own property in each of our names? I can understand if she were nice and polite with us, but the absurd behaviour from Mrs. Scarlett, it doesn't make any sense.
Perhaps she was truly a lonely soul. I mean, you have to remember she did commit suicide. She must have been terribly depressed.
Perhaps you're right. As much as I hated that woman, her nastiness could have been a way of expressing herself, a demand for attention.
Silly old me. I went to get the car keys. It was in my bag all the time. Looking forward to this.
Victoria, what's the matter? Victoria?
The property is £6 million in debt. The three of us are responsible for paying the balance to an organisation, the Mitchum Brothers.
The Mitchum Brothers? That does not sound like a legit solicitor to me.
It's a mafia contract. It has to be paid, or we could lose everything.
Is this some kind of joke by Mrs. Scarlett?
Lizzie, do you remember the night we had dinner with Mrs. Scarlett and you questioned her about how she came about the property?
Well, yes. I was thinking she was a gold digger.
I was watching her face when you were questioning her. She looked really uncomfortable and she kind of avoided the question.
I wonder if my son knew about this. If he did, that may be the reason why he escaped. The poor boy must have been scared out of his mind. Oh. Mrs. Scarlett has played us all for fools. She planned her own death and died on her own terms, knowing that it wouldn't be for nothing. Why did we ever believe that Mrs. Scarlett could die and our lives would be better?
That Scarlett woman! This is all your fault.
How's it my fault?
Because your son would have died of a woman.
Don't you take my son. It's got nothing to do with my son. He ran away from her.
Guys, hello, we are friends here. Why are we fighting for friends?
It's actually your fault.
My fault? How
Your
was it my
husband
fault?
had an affair.
It was
with
not
Dr.
an affair. We weren't married yet. Besides, it was your fault because you're the one that went to the house without a husband. It was a man you just happened to meet.
How dare you!
My bad. Goodbye, ladies.
Well, the story comes to an end, as I am no longer around, and now I have left my legacy behind. My life was not pleasant to begin with, and I didn't have a pleasant childhood. Even during my last years of my life, I wasn't happy. The one thing I regret was cheating on my husband. I was a lucky woman, but took my life for granted. In the last few days, the guests came to my house at my request, and it changed their lives for the better. They went from acquaintances to friends. My life was so phenomenal. I was so unhappy in myself, which is why I took my own life by overdosing. Now I've left my will behind me in hopes someone will inherit my property and continue my legacy in a positive light.